Mbak Olive, Caca, and Mas Riko.
We are going to have a review. The title is Making Globalization Work by Joseph Stiglitz.
Happy watching! Globalization was global issue since 2004. People believe globalization can change the world become greater in several aspects. But unfortunately, globalization cannot be implemented in some countries as it is expected to be. Why? Joseph said that globalization has the potential to benefit millions, but it has failed to deliver due the way it has been managed. There are beneficial things of the rules of world trade to the richest countries, but not for the poorest countries. In this book, we can conclude there are few general criticisms of globalization. First, the rules of globalization benefit rich countries. Second, globalization advances material values above all other values such as the environment or happiness. Third, globalization robs poorer countries of their ability to rule themselves. Fourth, globalization does not make everybody richer and makes many people poorer. Fifth, it seems like it's imposed on poorer countries whether they want it or not. And last but not least, globalization is not necessarily inevitable, but more must be done to ensure that it benefits every person and not only a few rich countries. In this chapter, the writer laments the futility in the promise of development, where in most developing nations of the world, globalization has failed to deliver the promises of development, evident in the fact that GDP growth in some developing countries keeps fluctuating and the growth does not translate into improvement in the quality and quantity of life of the people. Worse still is the reality that development initiatives are often hang on the trickle-down approach and barely imposed on the subject with a little input from them. Accordingly, the chapter demonstrates how India and China can evolve development policies that help them improve their economy and what hopes exist for similar developing nations.
In Chapter 3, the author explains trade agreements signed in recent decades between the global rich countries over poor countries. This imbalance is illustrative of the value of globalization and reflects the underlying hypocrisy of the developing nations. Fair trade will occur if all subsidies are green. Trade restrictions have been lifted. Demand fair trade began a grassroots movement in Europe over 40 years ago. It was birthed from commitment to the ideal of justice and the effort to alleviate poverty in the world. For this reason, the concept of fair trade was defined as alternative. Traditional approach to international trade to build trade partnerships and to achieve sustainable development for and to help people treat world producers. Free trade doesn't necessarily mean fair trade, so a revolution of the international trading system is needed to bring balance to globalization. In this chapter, explain about fair trade, habit, and people. Rich developed countries use copyright, patent, and intellectual property law to consolidate their wealth and hinder the development of other nations. Medicine and technology that could help poor people are withheld from them when developed countries impose Western ideas of intellectual property protection on developing nations. This system must be reformed to benefit developing nations. Intellectual property rights give the owner of the property the exclusive right to use it. The owner of the property can of course allow others to use it, usually for criminal fee. The protection of intellectual property is designed to ensure that investors, writers, and others who invest their money and time in creative activity receive or return their investment. Designing a balanced intellectual property regime, designing intellectual property regime entails answering difficult questions about what can be patented, how long the patent should last, and how broad the patent should be. TRIPS. This was exemplified by the influence of this corporate interest in adoption of the TRIPS agreement within the WTO. As the TRIPS agreement was being negotiated in Geneva in 1933, the Council of Economic Advisors and the Office of Science and Technology. Policy in the White House tried to make the American negotiators understanding of deep conservation. Promoting innovation and social justice. Intellectual property is not the end of itself, but means to end if it supports enhance social well-being by promoting innovation.
On this chapter, Joseph Stiglitz described how natural resources can allow nations to grow its economy at rapid rate. Resources like oil and coal offer a limited opportunity to grow an economy. But many countries have squandered their potential growth due to corruption and other reasons, like a developing country that have a big number of resources but perform badly in economic. They fail to get the full value from their resources and fail to spend their profits really well. Developing countries which had natural resources sometimes had big problem with their politics, corruption, and they had a dictator leader. It because some people in that country want to gain benefits or profit from the natural resources. Then, private company want to take this opportunity and advantages to take much profit for themselves. Developed countries should measure for improvement could include ensuring greater transparency to combat the corruption, reducing arms sales, regulating against resources extracted in harmful ways, targeting financial assistance at countries who extract resources in fair and equal. If these measurements are implemented, then the author believes globalization can help with the extraction of resources in developing countries, saving the planet. Climate change is the trending issue of globalization. In this chapter, Joseph Stiglitz believes that the issue affects developing countries and is caused in part by globalization. The solution could also be achieved through the globalization measure. Overproduction of common resources needs to be limited, but individuals and countries lack the desire to limit themselves. An example is overfishing in the sea, which actively harms the fishing industry, but no country or individual is willing to curtail their production. Pollution, global warming are a huge problem for environment these days. It's because the overproduction from the factory that cause those problems. The interesting fact is developing countries are having contributed to the most of the global warming. There are several movements by the activists and other countries, but the United States didn't support international movement and agreement to combat the global warming. The absence of US may impact the movement itself. They didn't support this movement because they didn't want to sacrifice profits and their politicians do not want to anger their domestic industry. Stiglitz explained that taxes, tariffs, and sanctions could all be used to enforce the agreement. Globalization has allowed the world's economies to exploit natural resources more ruthlessly and more quickly than ever before. A global solution is therefore needed, and the United States must be a part of this approach.
Chapter 9 about reforming the global resource system. The global financial system is not working well, and it is especially for developing countries. Money is flowing uphill from the poor to the rich. Some of this dollar from the developing to the developed would go to pay off their enormous debt as explained in the previous chapter. Others go to buy bonds from the United States and other strong currency countries. This bond will be added to the developing countries' reserve. The reserve has enormous advantage. They are highly liquid, so they can be sold quickly whenever the country needs cash. But they have an enormous cost. They earn a very low interest rate. The countries in the world hold reserve. They serve a multiplicity of purposes. Reserves also help countries manage the risk they face, and this bolsters confidence in both the countries and its currency. Reserve can also be used to manage the exchange rate. Without reserve, the exchange rate can fall, often quite dramatically. Reserve provide high cost of developing countries as they earn on average a real return 1 to 2%. If it wouldn't be a reserve, it could have been invested in other projects, earning some 10 to 15%. The difference between the interest rate can be viewed as the cost of the reserve or opportunity cost. The global reserve system depresses the global economy and make it more unstable. The current reserve system makes it difficult to maintain the world economy at full employment. Reserves are intended to reduce the cost of instability, but the irony is that the current global reserve system is the major factor behind the high level of global instability. There is a simple solution. The international community can provide a new form of fiat money to act as reserve. The country of the world would agree to exchange the fiat money, let's call it global greenbacks, for their own currency, for instance, in a type of crisis. The reform and the broader globalization agenda are globalization entails the closer integration of the countries of the world. This closer integration entails more interdependence, and this greater interdependence requires more collective action. Chapter 10 about democratizing globalization. Globalization was supposed to bring unprecedented benefit to all. Yet, curiously, it has come to be vilified both in the developed and developing countries. This book has been mainly about the economic of globalization, but the problem has been much to do with economic globalization outpacing political globalization. Reforming globalization is a matter of politics. Some of the key political issues are the prospect for unskilled workers and the impact of globalization on inequality. The democratic deficit in our global economic institution, which weaken even democracy within our own countries, and the human tendency to think locally even while we live in the increasing global economy. Two factors play a part in enabling wage difference to persist. The first is the scarcity of capital in developing countries. This matters because with less capital, workers are less productive and wages will be lower. The second is the gap in knowledge. Skill and technology have lagged in the developing world, and that has lowered productivity and depressed wages. There is a democratic deficit in the way that globalization has been managed. The international institutions who have been entrusted with rating the role of the game and managing the global economy reflect the interests of the advanced industrial countries. To make globalization work, there will have to be a change of mindset. We will have to think and act more globally. Globalization is approached within the very narrow framework of local politics. It is this disjunction between local politics and global problems. This is the source of so much of the dissatisfaction with globalization. There are two responses to the problem of democratic deficit in the international institution. The first is to reform the institutional arrangement. The second is to think more carefully about what decisions are made at the international level. If we are to make globalization work in an international economic regime in which the well-being of the developed and developing countries are well balanced, a new global social contract between developed and less developed countries, we can make it work not just for the rich and powerful, but for all people, including those in the poorest countries. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching our video. See
See you
you
from the next
next
one.
time.